How to stay motivated. How do we reach those goals that we keep telling ourselves and we keep telling others that we're going to reach? How do we attain our New Year's resolutions? How do we consistently every day make actions that help us move toward the kind of person that we want to be? Today, not only will I share the main ways and steps and process that I use to start achieving any goal and consistently get towards that goal. But I will also share two bonus tips that I think you could start doing today and start moving towards your goals today. All right, without further ado, let's get into it.
Now I'm shaking, drinking all this coffee. These last few weeks have been exhausting. I'm lost in my imagination. And there's one thing that I need from you. Can you come through?
Step one, make a goal. And when we make this goal, I'm going to keep this very concise, guys, okay? When we make this goal, we need to make sure this goal has a really strong why and a timeline. Now, you heard things like SMART goals, SMART, or OKRs, objectives and key results, and all these wonderful things. But for me, the most important thing in any goal that I've ever made is the why and a time. The why is really important because when things get hard, when you're making maybe a new step, rep 25, rep 30, and you're making progress on this thing, you sometimes you get tired. Sometimes you don't want to do it. Sometimes you get home or you go out and you're just like, bruh, I just not today. Why am I even doing this? That question always comes up for me. For anything that I've consistently done for a long time, the question of why am I doing this always comes up. And so I think it's very, very important to have a why because only the things that I've had a strong why for I've actually kept doing over all of this time. So make sure that your why is strong. For every goal, you have one. You have to have a why. Step two, you need to have an actionable step that is well defined. This is so, so important. For example, if I'm trying to learn Chinese, yeah, I can't just say I want to be fluent in Chinese by 2026 and then what? How am I supposed to do it? Do I get fluent in Chinese by talking to native speakers? Do I get fluent in Chinese by reading 10 chapters a day? No, you need to have an actionable step and it needs to be clear. It needs to be super clear because a lot of times our habits just fail at the goal stage because we have no idea how we're going to do it. And this needs to be defined. And not only do we need to define an actionable step, that step needs to be small. It needs to be a step and not a jump, not a leap, not a sprint, not a car drive, not a flight. It needs to be a step, just a small step, something that you can do consistently that won't make you super exhausted, that will not seem like a super daunting task every time you go to do it. Because sometimes when you go to do it, you're going to be tired and it needs to be attainable. So a small step. An example for me, for Chinese, was watching one video on a YouTube channel for like 13 to 15 minutes and maybe reading some of a chapter, not a whole chapter, some of a chapter. And I kept doing this for a very, very long time. Small, actionable step. All right, let's go. Step three, define when and define where. Where, pretty self-explanatory. Are you going to do it inside your house? Are you going to do it outside? Are you going to do it in the office? Self-explanatory. When now? When can be a specific time of day, or like a time like 10:30, 7:30, or when could also be before or after what action. Now, this is super powerful. Please listen to this carefully. This is something that I've learned from a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And it's like the art of attaching a new habit to a habit that you already have. So, for example, for me, one of the things I was doing when I was trying to get fit and look nice and what's not was every time I went to shower, I told myself that to earn that shower, I had to do at least 50 push ups. Now, 50 push ups was really hard at first. But after I started to do it consistently, 50 became 100, 100 became 200 with this one crazy time that my bros challenged me and said, you can't look fit just from doing calisthenics. I proved them wrong. Anyways, back to the main point. The point is, doing attaching something to a habit that you already have is super super powerful and will benefit so much in the long run with consistency. All right, that's it. Now we're going to go on to the two bonus tips and then we're done with this video. Let's go. Bonus tip number one. Now this one, actually, both of these bonus tips are about something as simple, very, very simple, which I like to call accountability. Okay? Accountability. And while these might seem trivial or risky or scary in some cases, accountability is one of the things that helps people to achieve their goals in the long run in so many different ways. An example for me is that I told an old friend that I was learning Chinese. Yeah, told my friend I was learning Chinese, and every time we see each other again, they're like, "Okay, so what level of Chinese are you at now? How's it going? What level of Chinese are you at now?" Oh my days! And you would think it's annoying, but to be honest, every time they asked me, I went home that night thinking, "Wow, there's somebody expecting me to make progress on the goal that I said I would make progress on." And that would always give me a new jolt of energy, a new drive to go forward and keep learning again. And this is something that helps a lot. So if it's somebody that actually cares about you, and I'm sure every one of you has at least one person, if you tell them about the goals that you're trying to achieve, they'll help you get there just by reminding you, just by asking how it goes. And those of you who are friends of those who are working towards goals, please do that. Please remind them in a nice way. Hey, you said that you're gonna, you're gonna work on learning Chinese. You were gonna work on losing weight. Maybe not losing weight. That's pretty mean. But you'll find some nice way to remind them about the thing and help them to keep doing it. Bonus tip number two, and the last bonus tip that we're going to give today, as I said before, is about accountability, but it's also about something very, very simple that, a rule that we all know about, but we don't actually use it in the opposite way. And this rule is out of sight, out of mind, which means when you don't see something, you can forget about it. Do we see where I'm going here? I'm going to something that is super, super important, has helped me so much. And I'm very, very sure will help you. What I do personally to help me achieve all of these goals, sometimes at the same time, is I put them on a wall. I'll show you in a second what that looks like. The idea is that after you've made the goal and after you've made the steps, you say when you're going to do it and all these wonderful things, you put a nice something on your wall. Some people put it on their phone. I don't really like to do that because I leave my wallpaper so fast. I swipe up my screen so fast. Apple does that scanning thing now that boom, I don't even really see what's on my phone screen. So I put it on the wall right where I work by my computer or somewhere that I see all the time, every day. And this allows me to not only see the goals that I'm aiming towards, but it also allows me to track them. Now you can track them in any fun kind of ways. For one of them, here I put the date and the name. This is what I'm doing now for my PhD. The date and the title for any paper that I've read for learning a language. I might put one line on this long bar that I have to say I've done something in that language today. Maybe it's watching a video. For exercise, I might say I put one line in a bar saying that I've ran today. And this kind of gives you a visual of how you're making progress. And it also gives you a visual of the kind of person you want to be, a reminder, because we have so many things going on. A lot of us have so many things going on. Some of us don't, and that's great. Sometimes that's really good to keep your head, clear. But sometimes there's so much going on, and we need to see something. We need some kind of trigger to help us remember the things that really and truly are quite important to us. All right, that's it, guys. Not complicated at all. This is how I stay motivated. This is how I achieve these goals that I've set and make consistent progress towards them. And this is how you can do it too. This is how I've learned Chinese. This is how I stay looking okay, fit. This is how I make progress with singing. This is how I have, healthy morning and nighttime routines. My routines and everything are on that paper on the wall. And I'm sure, guys, that if you take these steps, even just 1 to 3, but certainly if you add the bonus 2 steps of accountability and making sure that something is in your sight and in your mind, then I'm 95.87% sure that you also will achieve some of your goals. And it's not too late. Even though it's September, it's not too late. Never too late to start. And you're never too old to learn. Bye bye.